Can the same build work in your early game and in your late game? Absolutely. I recently made a video about the Town Archer colony build catered for early and mid-game players, and I want to make this showcase video to show that the build doesn't really have a limit when it actually stops being useful. What you can see in here above me is a wave level 60,000 account, and what you can see on the right is a wave 15 million account. So completely different stages of the game, but the build is essentially exactly the same. The only difference I have in my late game build, that you can see on the right, is that I have the 30 hero slot, so I have chrono in here to increase my game speed. Doesn't really give me any other advantage on top of that. Just 2 item slots and increased game speed for a bit faster clears. And I'm using Zero as a leader instead of Thor, like in the build above, because I don't have Thor leveled on this account. Zero is not leveled either. He is level 10,000 actually for this account, which is really nothing on 15 million waves. But he's here to just give me a little bit of boost for my damage against the normal monsters, against those that keeps on spawning from the Infinite Castle throughout the run. And as you can see, the builds are functioning basically exactly the same. The idea does not change between these points. The cannons are gonna be the main damage dealer in this setup, and that's a constant thing that's not gonna be changing. This build will work for any stage of your game, as you can clearly see in here. The difference between these accounts is that I have obviously a lot more skill points in the 15 million wave account, and I have a lot more better items than what I have in this very early game setup above me. And I will go through in this video. I will show the skill tree on my main account, on the 15 million wave level account that I have for this setup, and I will also show all the items on the heroes, on the towers, on the cannons, everything. I will show you everything in this video. And while I go through the items, I want you to pay a close attention to the items I'm gonna show you. Why? Because I want you to tell me in the comment section after watching which one of these items would you like for yourself, if that was possible. Which is one that you would desire the most. So keep close attention to the items when we are going through them. But let's begin by going to take a look at how the battle results look like, so you can see exactly what the cannons are doing here. And can I get some drums, please? The main damage leader of this build is the Town Cannons. Who would have thought? 98% of the total damage done. And as you can see, the other people are, well, they are doing damage, but that equals less than 1% each for the damage done. And you may wonder why Dark Bowmaster is in here as well, doing 0% of the damage. That is, like, unlike in the early game setup where she was doing something. That is because for this build she is level 10,000, which is on a wave 15 million level account. This is basically nothing. So she is here just to give the Archer Trio boost for my Dark Elf, so that I can get more healing from my Dark Elf. So that is the only reason she's in here. She's not doing any damage at all. My skills window looks like this currently. So I am at the 25 max CDEs, and then I have a couple of other points in here as well. And my skill tree, I believe we can start with this actually, looks like this. So just like in the early game video, we are starting from the physical path in here. I have a lot of skill points. As you can see, I have also a lot of unused skill points. The truth is, at this point, there's basically nothing that would really benefit this build, so I want to leave them out for this video. And even this amount of points is basically a bit overkill. For example, the poison tree is a bit overkill all in here, because it's only boosting warm for my MP recovery, and you really don't need that much for that purpose. But otherwise, it's just the sword nodes basically in the skill trees, in the sections, and then whatever boosts me stun monsters damage over the lightning tree, as we went through in the early game video. I will also link that in the description. I would highly recommend watching it. We have in the ice tree, we have more damage to frozen monsters and more damage to slowed monsters. The fire tree is here to give us more attack speed for our Mechram, who is responsible for doing some crowd control and so on. So that's how the skill tree looks like. We went through that in the early game video, again linked in the description if you wanna take a closer look on that. My treasures, well, they look like this. So Cursed Knife and Power Glove to increase our damage, and then I have the 3 defensive treasures in here. One of them could be replaced by something else to maybe boost my Town Cannon's damage a little bit. If I had Bowmaster, for example, leveled for this setup, then I would use definitely the Sharp Arrow and so on. Sharp Arrow would also give me more healing for my Dark Elf, but this is currently what I'm running, and I will just gonna probably see how long I can keep up with this kind of treasure section. But hey, let's go through the items, shall we? And like I said, pay close attention and tell me what item do you want for yourself. Let's start with Town Cannons, who are the main damage dealer, the core, the spotlight unit of this build. In here I have double fire damage, attack speed, CDE, bow. And for the accessory, this is the same thing that I use in my Wave build, so double damage and crit damage in here. No CDE because I can hit the 25 CDE cap even without that. And the critical fire orb, which works on the Town Cannons because they are actually a fire type unit. In here we have Hawk Druid. You could use the Wolf Druid as well, doesn't make any difference for 3 immortal ends. So basically the only thing we have in here is +1 summoned unit and cooldown skill level +1 lines on both items. On Defender, again, nothing makes any difference, so just cooldown skill level +1 lines on both items in here. Dark Skeleton to boost the Town Cannon's damage. We have some cooldown skill levels, we have some cooldown, some skill duration on both of these items. That's just enough for me to run Dark Skeleton. You can also double proc Dark Skeleton in early game if you can, but at this point it doesn't really make much difference to me anymore, so that is enough for me. The Dark Bowmaster items, as you can see, are, well, they are quite crowd control heavy. Maybe even a bit too much. Like, this item could be on someone else, definitely double knockback CDE. But yeah, it's 2 CDE lines and a little bit knockback. She does absolutely no damage. The stores items you might have seen in some other video previously. These are beautiful. Both of them are double cooldown item quality items, so DCD IQ items. So these are basically perfect for stores. This gives me a single proc cooldown for stores, so meaning every time I can cast my Pure Visage, stores will also be cast. That's just amazing amount of healing, basically. Here are the Pure Visage items. These I have shown so many times in my previous videos. No upgrade since, I don't even remember when I got the accessory, but oh, it's been ages since I got an upgrade for that. For the mech ram, the sword is probably not something you would expect. There's only like 1 attack speed line and CDE line in here, and the accessory does have 1 stun and 1 knockback line, so I guess you would expect I had more knockback on Mechram. I just found that at this level, with my setup, having more knockback won't make many, like, won't be that beneficial for me, and might actually be a counter-effective where my Dark Elf starts missing stuff and I just die more easily. So this is enough. Just have enough crowd control so that you can keep the enemies in check. That is the main core idea of your Infinite Colony builds. And then coming to Dorothy, and I think Dorothy actually has more crowd control. So we have stun lines in here to get more damage to stun monsters, so a lot of stun. And the main thing is we have cooldown skill level +1 lines. These are the same items that I used in my Hell mode build, so that's why they are in here as well. Chrono just have what Chrono has in all the builds: cooldown skill level +1 lines, MP cost reduction. So that's why Chrono is in here. I could run someone else in Chrono's slot. If I need more crowd control, I could use another Witch or Slingers or whatever in this slot. So if you are running this on early game, you have the 13 hero slot, you have the luxury of 1 more hero, you can run something else in here. You can also run Dark Assassin so that you can make more do more damage on crit hits to enemies, so that you can get more heal from Dark Elf. And her items look like this. So double critical +1 arrow, physical damage runes, attack speed runes, are maybe even better, completely fine, but I just kind of wanted to get some use from all of my physical damage runes, so at some point I placed them on there. And then a double critical +1 arrow accessory as well with 1 physical damage rune. Missing 1 rune, I haven't really seen the point of wasting 14 boxes yet for this setup. Maybe I will do that later when I stop being able to complete the Infinite Colonies. The Necromancer items are, again, the same thing that I use in Waving, so there's not much difference. Skill duration, CDE lines, basically at this point. Dark Hunter, absolutely, you must have Dark Hunter in your colony build if you're using Town Cannons, because they do not have the haste buff. So in here we just have basically CDE lines with some cooldown. And finally, Dark Ice Wizard. Dark Ice Wizard is on double block range, not absolutely mandatory, but helps you getting a little bit more crowd control. And in here I just have attack speed, cooldown, and CDE lines. So here is actually just double cooldown. I could probably even replace this with a CDE item if I needed one more CDE for the build, but as you saw, I am at the maximum of 25 CDEs already. And 0 just cooldown skill level +1 lines. Actually, I apologize. I have to apologize. Wow, I made a terrible lie. I lied to you. I said he is level 10,000, but he is level 10,001. Apologies. Please forgive me for this terrible mistake. He's level 10,001 for this setup. Does absolutely nothing but gives me additional damage to slowed monsters and slows and occasionally freezes monsters throughout the run. So that is the only reason. I could run Solar in here. That would boost my crit chance for my town cannons if I use the flame bow. So that would also be an option, absolutely. The Frozen Tower is just having double attack speed items right now, mainly for my hell mode purposes. At some point I will replace these with E items once I can farm more tower runes, but yeah, that will take a while. My Death Worm has tower runes, so I have cooldown skill level +1 lines in here. I use these for waving, and this just allows me to get 2 more cooldown skill level +1 lines, so that's handy. I don't really need that much MP recovery, but hey, I'll take it. And finally, Thorn Worm, well, only has 1 item, doesn't have a weapon actually. I have 1 cooldown skill level +1 line in here as well. I got 1 more tower rune to use, so eventually the things I want to improve in this build are getting another like item, like sword for my Thorn Worm with a CDE line. I need 1 tower rune for that, and then I need 2 more tower runes for the Frozen Tower item. So that's 3 more runes I have to farm, and that's gonna take a while. That's gonna take ages, to be honest. But that is how the build, how the items look like. Now, which one would you like to get if you get to pick one? Let me know in the comment section, and also if you have something better, feel free to flex on me. Hey, bring on that misery. I love to be jealous of your great items. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.